my first reaction was like, I can't believe I've got to tell George Clooney that I'm pregnant. That was my first reaction. I think I even told George before I told some of my family members. So it was just a very instinctive, organic process. It's it started with telling George in a conversation, which I'm sure was probably a bit of a shock. But he didn't let on that it was too much of a shock. He was.
Here, we'll show you, Felicity. It was like this. You're calling me going, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh, that's so great. So excited for you.
Well, it was an amazing performance because I was like, this is great. He chilled out about this whole thing. This is amazing.
Yeah, Grant was there too. I go, Grant's like, what's going on? I go, Felicity's pregnant. Isn't that great?
Well, you didn't let on, so it was very, very well done. But yeah, I think we just chatted it out, didn't we? We just got on the phone and George was just like, great, that's great. And we just had a very straightforward conversation. George was like, you still want to do it? I said, absolutely, I'd love to. And then we sort of got down to the nitty gritty of how do you do that? How do you make that work? And we were talking, because there was quite a few stunt sequences and talking about how that could be adapted, and I was going to be on wires and things like that, and we were just getting our head around it, and we had lots of conversations. My obstetrician was involved, who I have to give a shout out to, who was excellent, to just helping that it would be as safe as possible. And then George amazingly adapted a lot of the stunts so that I wouldn't be putting myself or my child at risk. And then we got to filming, and then after the first week, George and Grant came and said they were looking at the footage, and they thought, actually, there's something really interesting in this. And I presume because you could see that I was pregnant, so all the technical wizardry kind of hadn't happened at that point. And then we just sat again and had a very open conversation and felt like, actually, that would be really interesting, and let's go in that direction. And I think, I did a film years ago called Like Crazy, which was improvised. And George had a huge background in improvisation. And a lot of that is you embrace the truth of what's going on. That's all you have, really, and that reality. So it felt actually, it felt like we were coming from very similar backgrounds in that sense. And what a pleasure to be able to embrace that, and what a cool thing that was, completely unexpected. But actually, that's when I think you do the best acting work, you do the best filmmaking, when you're open to the moment, because in the end, that's all you've got. And that's, so that's how we forged ahead, and then adapted accordingly in order to make everything sync and make sense in terms of the relationships with all the different characters.